In this tip, I'm talking about getting more clubhead speed. So a few years ago, I was on TrackMan. Okay, there was a gentleman doing a PXG fitting out here. He had a TrackMan over in the corner of the range over here. So I asked him if I could do a couple of tips. And what I wanted to do was show people how little effort I can put into it and get a 100-mile-an-hour swing speed. And why I wanted 100 miles an hour is because when I have a launch monitor out here and I have student after student after student come out here that cannot break 90 miles an hour, literally swinging as hard as they can, and yet I can do 100 miles an hour with nothing, not even trying, then I must be doing it a different way. And wouldn't you want to know the way that I'm doing that? Yeah, because if you're struggling and you can't get a launch monitor to break 90, which most people can't, the more speed we get, more distance we're going to get on our shots. All right, so what I want to do first is cut to the video. So I'll show you right when I hit two balls. I was just trying to get 100 miles an hour, okay? So watch how easy it looks like I swing to get that kind of clubhead speed. So this is just very easy. I will try to put nothing into it.
On the clubhead speed.
So 98.1 clubhead speed. Now, Steve, let's go down the line. So that's pretty close to 100, and I felt like I was putting absolutely nothing into that right there. Okay, so we got 98 and 101. And like I said, I felt like I put absolutely nothing into that. All right, so you see how easy I swung. That was right in around 100 miles an hour. Okay, so, and that was on TrackMan. All right, so how did I do that? Well, if you're swinging out of your shoes and you can't break 90, or maybe you're 93 or 95, swinging as hard as you can, well, I'm just swinging looser than you. I'm talking super loose. My wrists are super loose. So I'm letting the looseness generate the speed of that golf club. So I have trained myself to loosen and loosen and loosen. And I know, you've followed, if you're kind of been around a while, I keep bringing this up. Loose, loose. I even put it on my hat. This is how important this is. So it's loosening your wrists, not loosening your grip though. I am not letting go of the golf club. I am holding on securely, but I have trained myself to loosen my wrists. So that's what generates the speed, is that hinging and rehinging of the wrists. Now I connect that arm unit to my body, which is turning this way with my shoulders and then this way with my hips. So to get it to go 100, I really wasn't turning very fast. Not my normal. I go normal, now I can get it to like 110. Okay, and at almost 56 at 110, yeah, I'll take it. Because my swing speed hasn't gone down in 5 years. Okay, so the whole point of this is that if you get loose like that, yes, you will be able to increase your clubhead speed as well. But more importantly, if it takes little effort to get pretty good distance, don't you think you could do that when you were like 70, 75, 80 years old? If you're swinging as hard as you can right now out of your shoes and you don't even get to 90 miles an hour, add another 10, 15, 20 years on you, what do you think your swing speed's going to be? Yeah, it's going to be less. because you're not going to get any stronger. As we get older, we get weaker. So that's what I'm getting at. And that's why, I would become obsessed with looseness, especially after seeing me just put nothing into it and getting it to 100 miles an hour. So if you've been really struggling, like loose would become the key thought that you'd be working on. So how do you get this? Well, like I said, I'm not letting go of the club. Okay? I am doing my neutral grip. Then in my mind, for me, I start at 2 or 3 out of 10. As I go back, I'm tightening to around 8 out of 10. And then I keep that 8 out of 10 pressure throughout the swing. But in my mind, I am thinking that the hands and wrists are not hands and wrists. All right, I just see this as like a metal hinge. So in my mind, I'm thinking, keep the hinge loose, like a hinge on your door. You grab the doorknob, open your door. Okay, there's no resistance there. You don't have rusty hinges on your door, do you? If your hinges were rusty, you'd have a hard time getting in your house. So what would you do? You'd go to the garage and get a can of WD-40 and you would spray the hinges. So that's all we're doing here. We're oiling the hinge or hinges, let's say both wrists, okay? So just think in your mind, okay, if this was like a metal hinge, how would it work? Well, it would hinge, it would come back to where it started, and then it would rehinge. It would hinge, it would rehinge. So you just keep thinking about that, imagining it. Okay, and then you keep repeating it, thinking, loose. My wrists are like a loose hinge. Don't let go of the club though, okay? If you let go of the club, your first move will be to grab back on, and now you just locked your wrists again. You gotta hold on. Then you're working it back and forth, back and forth. Now, as you do this and you kind of rehinge it, you get a snapping sensation. See that right there? There's a snap to it. If you're getting the snapping sensation, that's telling you that the hinge is hinging and rehinging. That's the feeling you want. You want that snapping action. I don't feel that because I've done it for so long. That feels normal to me. Now I get someone that's like this with a locked hinge, okay, and I get them to do this, over the course of, since 1991 when I started teaching, I get people to loosen up. They always tell me it feels like it snaps. I'm like, yes, that is the correct feeling. If you don't know that, you'll probably go back to tight again, going, I'm gonna hit this, all locked up. Yeah, that is not gonna work. So you need to get used to this sensation. But if you're not good at something, it's not gonna come in like 2 seconds. Some people get it right away because the snap is so different. They just do the new different thing. But if that's not you, then I need you to keep working on it. Just every day I would be sitting there, hinge, rehinge, hinge, rehinge, over and over, holding on until you start to sense that your wrists are loosening. That piece is going to give you the speed, okay? Now, all you're doing with that arm unit is connecting it to your body, which is coiling this way and uncoiling that way. So if I go slow, see the club's moving slow. Now if I turn faster, it starts to move faster. I'm getting the speed, like my top speed, because I'm turning my body faster. I'm not hitting anything. I'm not hitting hard. I'm trying to avoid that because when I hit hard, I lock up. And then that starts twisting the face, plus you lose the clubhead speed. How do I know that? Because pre-1999, I was hitting it too. I'd be right here trying to hit it as hard as I could. So I had that faster looking swing too. But then I stopped hitting, and all of a sudden, I get lots of power, and it looks like I'm barely swinging at it. I'm just doing it a different way. So if you're looking for clubhead speed, you gotta start loosening. I'm telling you, if you don't do that, it will only get worse into the future because you will get weaker. If you're basing it on strength, you will get weaker. I'm not basing it on strength. I'm basing it on looseness. My wrists are super loose. How else do you think like a 12-year-old can hit it like 250? They got to be doing it somehow. They're not strong. So they can be loose because you don't have to be strong to be loose. It's just a different way. Then if you watch a little kid hit a golf ball, like especially someone that's maybe a little more experienced when they're, like I say, 12, 13, let's say they can hit it 250, you'll see they get here and then they fire the hips. Okay, a lot of kids look like that when they're hitting the ball. That's too much hips. But, you know, if they're learning how to get power and they're not, you know, full grown yet, they're gonna really drive their hips hard. So that's what we're doing to get the power. It's a looseness, it's not a strength thing. Okay, so start working on your hinge. Just, again, don't see it as hands. These aren't wrists. It's a metal hinge. How it would hinge like an L and a backwards L. L, backwards L. See how this is working? It's crossing over. It's doing the opposite on this side. Okay? It can't do that if it's locked. If it's locked, it's gonna buckle and now you're doing a chicken wing and locking everything up. So just every day start doing this. Do it at home, do it at the range, even do it when you play. I'm telling you, anyone can get a lot more power if they just swing looser, not harder. I truly hope you've enjoyed this tip. Here's another tip that's going to help you improve your swing. Now, right below that, don't forget to click on that link because I'm going to send you some free samples of my body swing book and video series that'll take you step by step by step through how to build a powerful, effortless, pain-free golf swing.